What is up, guys? This is Los from the Big Retro Show, and I just got done watching the Game Chasers movie, Adventures in Game Chasing. Now, if you guys don't know who the Game Chasers are, they are one of the OG YouTube channels that taught us all that you too can pick up Little Samson for 15 bucks if you search hard enough at the flea markets. This is one of the channels that I came up watching, and it's really one of the channels that inspired me to open up a YouTube channel. They are one of the original game hunters on YouTube, and they deserve a lot of credit for putting out this movie, The Adventures in Game Chasing. So, if you guys have never heard of this movie, it is basically a movie that features Billy and Jay from the Game Chasers along with a lot of their friends from YouTube. And the premise of the movie involves them going on a road trip trying to reacquire the NES that Billy was given as a youth by his grandparents. The plot line closely resembles, well, at least that part of it, what really went down in Billy's life, where his grandparents gave them all an NES to share among the cousins, and they would use that as a way to lure the kids over to the house and spend time with them. And the kids, they would go over there and play Nintendo. So, I believe I've heard Billy talk about this quite a bit on the Game Chasers, and so I thought that that was kind of cool that he incorporated that into this movie. Now, Billy and Jay play some friends that lose their job. They are movers, and you know they lose their job. And I gotta say that the opening sequence for this movie is extremely impressive. Extremely impressive. They open up with a sequence, and they're in space, and they're fighter pilots, and they're fighting off the alien hordes, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty impressive. But yeah, so the plot line centers around them taking a road trip from their home in Texas to Colorado, where they believe that their old school Nintendo, well, Billy's old school Nintendo, is there just to be picked up. Apparently, the grandparents gave it to Redneck Chris, which is Billy's real life cousin, and they go on a trip with their friends 8-Bit Eric and Chief, who are part of the Ghost Getters, the duo that chases ghosts instead of video games. Now, it's obviously a nod to the Ghostbusters, and you'll find that this movie has a lot of nods to all of the old school movies and video games, and that is one of the aspects of the movie that I enjoyed. It definitely gives you that nostalgic kick that you guys need so much, and that I need so much, to be quite honest with you. Another aspect of the movie that I enjoyed are the production values. I actually was not expecting too much of this movie. I thought it was just going to be like another Game Chasers episode, but Billy and crew went all out on this movie. It does look like a polished professional movie. Everything that they used in the movie, from the music to the cinematography, to the camera angles, and all of that in between, is top notch. I think it adds a lot of uh, uh, value to the movie because it is a polished product. And the poster that they also have for this movie is pretty awesome. This is a movie that anybody who likes video games, or anybody who knows who the Game Chasers are, is probably going to want to watch. The humor in this movie is very much in line with what you would see in a Game Chasers episode. There's a lot of fart jokes. There's a lot of bo jokes, and a lot of poo jokes in this movie. And it was hit or miss. It was definitely hit or miss. I think a lot of it had to do with the acting. There was a lot of the face and the face. It's nobody screams like that. Nobody nobody does that. I mean, I felt kind of like I was watching the acting that they do in their YouTube videos. But again, these guys aren't actors, and they have openly admitted that the worst part of this movie, in their opinion, is the acting, and I have to agree with that. The acting was, it was a good effort. it was a good effort by a group of guys who obviously know what they're doing behind the camera, but could use a little bit more training when it comes to acting. And that's not a knock on them. It really isn't. Um, it's good for what it was. It was a good first effort for the movie. Now let's talk about the humor. There were parts in there where I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe that they went there." One of the scenes involved them being in a diner, and 8-Bit Eric excuses himself to go to the bathroom. Well, he's sitting on the toilet doing a number two, and at the same time, he's he's eating a sandwich on the toilet. So it's going in one opening and going out the other. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's doing that. But so that gave me kind of a chuckle, and then it kind of all went like from a chuckle to like, ugh, when something happened in the restaurant, and I'm not going to tell you what it was, but something happened where Eric found himself outside of the restaurant without wiping. And he was out there with just a shit stained underwear. And the guys obviously were just like disgusted with him. And I was just like, oh man, that is gross. It kind of reminded me of the what's grosser than gross jokes from back in the day. That was that kind of humor that this movie contained throughout it. And so, yeah, I mean, the humor was hit or miss, but then again, I think a lot of that had to do with the acting and the delivery of the jokes. Another thing that I thought that the movie could have done better was the character development. I mean, I do like the game chasers and I like how they interact with each other, but this is a movie and they were kind of like playing themselves. And so they are so much more than just video games. They have their daily struggles and they have, loved ones in their life that, you know, cheer them on and champion them. And I thought that we didn't get too deep into the characters themselves and who they are and what they're about. I thought it could have done a little bit better in developing the characters more, because to me it was like almost like they were all goofs, all goofy. And that's all good because that's what the movie was about, right? It was about their friendship and about them being a goofy, and it was a comedy, but there was little to no separation of the characters, I guess. And it was just like watching one character throughout the whole movie. And again, that's not a knock on them, it's just a personal observation. I thought that they did a good job in putting this film together, and this is not a knock on them. This is just an observation. So before you write any hate comments, uh, um, just realize that I'm not shitting on them. I think that they did do a good job. I just thought that the characters could have been developed a little bit better. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that those are my only two critiques of the movie. I want to wrap this review up by telling you that I did enjoy this movie. I thought it was head and shoulders way better than I thought it was going to be. And I watched it yesterday. I'll probably give it another watch, probably this weekend, and just to kind of see what I missed, those references that I missed in the plot lines and so on and so forth. The ending for this movie I thought was good. Um, and I think that overall it was fun seeing like the other YouTubers involved. I think there was Joe Redifer from GameSack involved, and he was funny. I think Woodhawker is in this movie as well, and there were other. I think Game Dave plays like the evil guy who's trying to get the nest. And I thought they did a good job explaining why he was so obsessed with getting Billy's Nintendo. So I think that they did a good job with that as well. Anyways, guys, if you have seen this movie, let me know in the comments what you thought of it. And again, I am not bashing on this movie. I'm actually very impressed that they were able to put this movie together and bring it to market. Anyways, guys, I will see you next time on the Big Retro Show. Peace.